Hey, boys and girls, and everybody else. Welcome to the Shead Show. I'm your host, Ryan, and this is Ian.
Booker, Booker, Booker. Let's go.
Welcome back to another Friday.
First and foremost, very proud of the Lions. Very proud
Yes,
of the Lions. That's all I'm
very
going to say
much.
about that. They went out doing what they loved. Okay.
Yep, I'm not mad. I'm not mad about the fourth down calls. He's been doing it all year. He did exactly what Dan Campbell's been doing.
Yep.
So I didn't expect him to do anything else.
You know,
And
I kind of would expect them like to throw him for a loop, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it.
I mean,
I'm going to save it for therapy.
it, I will say that it took me a solid 24 hours. I was down. Like I was literally what I was doing was I was playing a game with my friend and we were playing Call of Duty and I'm watching the game. It ends and we were in the middle of a match. I'm like, I'll talk to you later. Click. The God honest truth, bro.
You didn't even wait for the reply, did you? You didn't even wait for, oh, mouse it, click,
Nope. I'm like, I'll see you later. Click.
click.
Just turn off the Xbox right in the middle of
Oh,
a match. Yep.
yeah, my wife, my favorite quote from her was, "I'm really glad you're not one of those like get drunk and be mad at me because your team lost
Throw
type of."
something at the
I go,
TV.
girl, I go toxic. You mean I'm not toxic?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
oh no, no.
see, and my wife was on the other end of the spectrum. She's like, you get a pass today. You can
Oh,
scream, you can cuss, you can do whatever.
bet.
Yeah, yeah, there by about the midway through the third quarter, I was cussing. Yeah, I was cussing.
I, I'll tell you right now, my internet dropped during the third quarter, and I'm superstitious. I go,
See, your
my internet
internet was trying to
dropped.
help you. Yeah,
That
your internet was looking out for you, bro.
internet said, "Here's how we're gonna save you from some grief." So
Uh,
it was a gift and the curse. Gift and the
Speaking
curse.
of grief, bro. Oh my God. Just hours before we come on here, we find out that oh, that ain't the right one.
Oh.
Jeez. That Carl Weathers passed away.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude.
That's yeah. I that hit me today. That
Mhm.
hit me.
So let me ask you then, what was your favorite role?
You know, I have to say anything with him in it is my childhood. That's me aging myself. I loved him in Predator, even though it was not a big role. I
Yeah.
loved him. I always wanted the buddy cop movie of him and Arnold as a prequel of them at
Like
war.
how they yeah. That would have
How
been a
they
good
were.
dude, that would have been a good
You
movie.
know what I mean? So I always wanted that. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, I know he dies from an alien, but clearly he was a badass against humans. And so I was
Exactly.
like, I always was just watching
Dude,
that.
they really missed the with that one. That could
Look,
have
man,
been a
Hollywood,
that,
I'm here all day for you. I'm just
uh,
gonna let you know.
dude,
Um,
that could have
I
been
got
a
stories for days.
blockbuster. Y'all messed up, Hollywood. Y'all messed
Got
up.
stories for days. Stories for days. But I mean, let's be serious. Him and Rocky was so quintessential at that time, and then the fact that he was, supposed to be the villain of the story, but realistically, it's just like this great boxer, and then he wins.
Yeah. In
I
the friendship though that developed around that character and those two characters, that
Yeah,
was what truly made that um such a iconic role for him,
100%.
because there was so much depth to the character. It wasn't just, oh, here's the guy that Rocky's going to go beat up.
Right.
There was way more depth to it, and then the friendship that they built going into the other movies, it was just
Into
like,
the
man,
second
that
one was phenomenal, and they
yeah.
never really captured that again. And actually, I give them a
No.
lot of with Creed when they revamped it, and I go to run with it, and then have a glimpse of him in the first Creed movie with Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
I was like, oh wow, like it was a tearjerker. But
It was, which by the way, I love the Creed movies.
yeah,
So
yeah, phenomenal,
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yep.
But I have to say, even him showing up, anything he always pops up in, I'm always just like, I just love him. I just love
Yep.
him. And
And then the
Mando,
comedy side too. We can't forget the comedy. Happy Gilmore
yeah,
was
oh my god.
funny. It was funny.
Just tap it in.
Yeah,
Come
just
on, man.
tap it in.
Just it's everything. And
Damn
so
gator got my hand.
so I ripped his eye out. It's like
Oh man.
so it's
Oh
those things that and then him and Mando. The fact
yeah.
that I call the show Mando is because he says Mando. Like I was just
Yep.
like his lines were just brilliant. So and even he was an old man doing that. I'm like, I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Jumping battle doing that kind of
Yeah. I
work.
didn't. Once again, Black don't crack. I didn't realize he was in his freaking 70s.
Bro,
But
bro. He seriously looked. I mean, look, we know he didn't have a 10 pack like he did as Apollo
no,
Creed, but it's just like wow, like I'm amazed at
I
how.
never looked like that. Never. But no, rest in peace. He apparently sounds like he passed away peacefully in his sleep. So, just thinking about his family and loved ones, and the rest of the fans out there like us who are feeling it today. So, yeah, rest in peace, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, rest in peace,
Thanks for
King.
all the awesome memories.
Rest in peace, King. That's a
Yep.
big thing. What else is on the docket, man?
Well, let's move on to it's Fonnie Willis, correct?
Fonnie Willis.
Fonnie. Okay, thank you. Fonnie Willis has announced that she will not step down from the Trump trial after it was reported that she had an inappropriate relationship with another attorney that is involved. So let me ask you what you think about that, bro.
What I think is interesting about that situation is that I don't think she needs to step down. I think her relationship is her relationship. It's her private business. I don't care. You know, as much as Trump doesn't want us to know about who he raped, I think we should know who's having a relationship with whoever. Now, granted, I understand that he's dealing with the slime ball of any type of lawyers, and they're looking for
Anything. Yeah.
any excuse. They're turning there, which tells you how clean cut you have to be to go for this guy. Because as dirty as he is, he's looking to bring you in the mud, and
Yep.
that's where I'm wondering what's up with Jack Smith because they can't find shit on him.
Yeah.
They're trying.
Well,
They're trying.
but that's, I say the same thing about myself. That's what makes people like him and me dangerous out here is because I don't know about him, but I'm willing to drag my skeletons out of the closet and lay them out for everybody. And that takes away everybody's ability to try to hold something over me. And
Right.
Jack Smith's the same way.
Right.
Like you said, as long as he's been going after Trump, if they had anything on that man, we would know about it. We would know
They're
about it.
looking. They're looking like the
And yeah,
fact that
they're
Bonnie.
still looking.
But keep in mind, because she is a woman, they hate women. They hate women.
Yes,
So
yes,
they're looking at any. I mean, the fact that they're trying to slut shame her first and foremost. Then they're over here because they tried that shit with her in some type of case that she was on, and they're like, "Oh, you and that criminal, blah blah blah." And it's like, what are they doing? And then they dug this up, and I go, okay, here
yeah,
they go, here they go. So look, if they found no foul play, and it's through the courts, and she was just like, look, we went through the system, and we have shown, here's all the receipts, everything's good. Don't back out because guess what? He doesn't back out, and I'm still pissed at the Democratic Party because they're really soft, and they got rid of Al Franken, and I think he should still be right now on the Hill, plain
yep.
and simple.
Well,
Stop turning on each other.
yes, absolutely. It's and it's
You
still
got to get, you
happening.
got to,
Like that is what's happening right now too. Like
yeah,
the party is eating itself alive, and
100%. And I'm
it's
tired of
just
Democrats trying to be on the high road. Get in the mud. Get in
yeah.
the mud.
That's why, like I said, when they go low, I go lower. You
You
know,
about to be on that Dan Campbell. I'm biting kneecaps.
I'm
This
taking knee.
nonsense.
Telling you, like I said, I'm gonna take a kneecap. You may knock me down, but I'm gonna get back up. I'm gonna take another kneecap.
I do gotta love it, man. That
And
is
by
so
the
tough.
time we're done, you're gonna look like a lion. Fucked you up. But no, I like how you said that. Trump knows he's guilty. His team of lawyers knows that he's guilty, and this is the only play they have is to discredit everybody involved. Whether it's a Biden appointed judge or
Of
you
course.
know or they have an inappropriate relationship or whatever they come up with. It's all bullshit,
Which I have a
and
question
none of the arguments for Trump is ever I
about what
didn't
he
do
did.
it.
About
It's
what he did.
well,
It's
no,
never
but it's never about I didn't do it. I'm innocent. It's always I have immunity. Discredit everybody that's coming after you.
right.
Like it's very telling how he approaches this. He knows he's guilty, and it makes him look guilty.
What's interesting is I don't think he thinks he's guilty because no one who's narcissist thinks anything about that.
Well, that
They
may be
think
true.
that what they do is what they do. You know what I mean? It's just like, and you're the issue that's in his way,
Trump's the one with secret rooms and closets.
bro. Bro.
That's what Tabby said.
Go. But I find it interesting that and you're right, it's deflect, it is gaslighting, it is always projection. That is
Yeah,
their defense, and then delay, delay, delay. But I don't understand why the system, being our system, we've watched this man in 4 years in presidency, and now we've watched him damn near 4 years outside of presidency, so
yep,
post. Because for newsflash, who does not like this show. Trump lost.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yep.
And I can say
By
that because he
by a
lost
lot.
also the court filings.
60 plus, 60 plus.
60, I think it's
Yeah,
61.
I think it was. Yeah, that's why I say plus because I don't know what I know. It was at least 60.
But he lost. Lost. He
Yep.
lost. And here we are still talking about this asshole.
I hate the fact that
And
we still
all
have
I
to
can
talk
say
about
to
him.
you is that, he doesn't look healthy either, by the way. He does not look healthy.
No, he doesn't, and they're trying to make him look healthier with makeup and
Bro, there's
spray
not enough
tan, and
Photoshop. There's not enough.
it's not working.
No,
No,
no. He's I
he doesn't. He doesn't look good. I mean, again, the dude's 77, 78 years old.
right.
Yeah,
He's only 3 years younger than Biden. Let's
yeah,
just all
he's got a lot of miles on them
he's
tires.
3 years younger than Biden.
Exactly.
That's it.
All right. So speaking of court cases, so it came out today also that Donald Trump's March 4th trial date on federal charges that he conspired to overturn the 2020 election has disappeared from the DC District Court calendar, and no new date has been set yet. Yeah, give it to me.
We just talking about delaying, didn't we?
Yeah,
We just
yep.
talking about delaying.
Just talked about it. Now, granted, like I read this, I don't understand what the delay is about. It makes it sound like the judge wants to wait to figure out
So, okay,
like what the other court cases are going to be.
to unpack this, what we're looking at is Jack Smith taking this to the Supreme Court immediately and saying, "Look, let's just get through the bullshit. Is he have ultimate power or not?
Yep.
Does he have full immunity and what we're just wasting our time, or can this person be tried? Because if we're looking at the Federalist Papers, if we're looking at literally the people, our forefathers, and what they wrote about this shit, is that we have no kings. You are a
Yep.
president. You can be tried. No one's above the law. How is it I grew up hearing this all my life? No one's above the law. Well, except for that guy.
Yeah, except for him apparently.
So what's interesting about it, what his lawyers are using, is that they have two claims. They claim that Trump cannot face criminal prosecution because he was first never convicted by the Senate. So they're using impeachment as a basis for some of this. Second, they are saying that he was in the outer perimeter of the presidential powers when he was, doing corrupt shit. So let's unpack the first one. The first one being impeachment. That is a political stance that has nothing to do with sending you to jail.
Yeah, it's a
Or
political prosecution. It's not a criminal.
that's all it is.
Yep.
And when that happened, and I want everybody to go back and re-listen to Mitch McConnell on the floor talk about it, and every senator that was at that time of the impeachment, what they said. He will not be convicted here, but that does not stop what can happen in the courts who should be dealing with it. So they passed it to the courts to handle these matters. Courts now are trying to say, no, that's because of you guys supposed to handle it. So this volleying back and forth is what needs to be called out.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yep. And he's
Second
being
off,
charged on 3 conspiracy charges and 1 obstruction charge. So that's what this one trial is going for. I'm sorry. Second of all, go ahead.
Second one being this outer perimeter, they're citing Nixon in their actual defense.
Are they really?
Yes. Nixon
Oh.
versus Ferguson is what they cited from
No, they didn't.
They cited the 1982 Supreme Court case Nixon versus Ferguson. Anything that has Nixon involved with it, you are a fucking crook.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, if you're using a crook to justify your crookedness.
This is what's so comical about this shit. And I'm like, why are we even playing this game?
Dude, that's
the only difference is that Nixon had a little bit more gravitas. He had a little bit more of a backbone. He had a little bit more of a stature where he's like, okay, you know what? You caught me. Let me go ahead and just fade away.
Yeah, he at least had that honor at the end to at least be like, okay, I'll resign.
Trump
Like,
has no honor.
No,
and
none.
Everybody that he's going up against, he knows how sniveling all these politicians and everybody are. That's why they are literally just getting behind him or afraid to attack him.
Yep.
And then on the other side, they're playing this dumb game and trying to fuck around and find out.
Yep. Absolutely. And just to dumb it down in case I have to for anyone, what he means it by us messing around is that the Democrats want to focus on one issue or two issues instead of looking at everything. And like, I don't know how to say this without upsetting some folks, and I'm sure it's probably going to come out wrong, but I'm not saying I don't care about these people. I'm not saying I don't care about the people of Israel. I'm not saying I don't care about people in Gaza or Palestine. I, I care. Okay. That being said, if you are going to vote against Joe Biden and vote for Donald Trump because of what's going on in the Middle East, and that's it, and you're one of these genocide Joe people and all that, please, please, just one issue voting is one way that we can lose this country. And I don't care what anybody says. Third party votes in this current political system. So until we fix it and get ranked choice voting or something like that, or like 8 viable parties like other countries that do it better than we do, until we fix that, it's one or the other. So we have Joe Biden, who we're about to talk about, had great job numbers. Unemployment's doing pretty good. Inflation's going up and down, but for the most part, everything's looking fairly
Soft landing.
good.
Soft landing.
You know what I'm saying? So we're not doing bad.
No,
And
we're doing best out of the entire globe.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you're either voting for that or you're voting for a rapist and a domestic terrorist. Like that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. This
And an
dude and a what?
asshole.
That too. But let me just end this talking point on this is I feel like this is a huge failure in the whole judicial system that this is not settled going into this election season.
Oh, I
Like
think it's ridiculous that they are dragging their feet.
like
The only glimpse of hope I have about this is that and the only thing I can think about is that this is getting bumped up right into the election because the verdict's going to come out right before voting.
yeah,
And if it was to come out right before voting, which would be really quite interesting because if anything is past November, it's over. The moment's passed.
mm,
Like,
yeah,
as in, if the election happened and people voted for Trump and Trump won, let's just say
yeah,
hypothetically,
yeah, it's
and then
done.
they're like, okay, we're going to be going to trial in November. No, you're not.
No, you're not. It's
He's
done
president.
now. Yep.
Done. It's over. And so I don't understand why Jack Smith could bring this to the Supreme Court, and then they're like, no, we have to go through the process. You need to go to the appeals court first, and then it will be brought up to us. But no one's saying, okay, appeals court next week. We'll be there. You guys can appeal after that. Okay, great. We're doing it all within 1 week. I
Yeah,
don't understand why the time frame is being pushed back months after months after. I get that you have to read the litigation. You have to do all anything that comes into running a case. I get it.
yeah,
But this is one of the most important cases, probably, of our country because it's unprecedented, which we've heard so many times. But
yeah,
this is the first time that we are actually looking at taking it to that level of a president. This is not political. This is actually brought forth of is this insurrection? Because you have
yeah,
states now with their states' rights saying this was an insurrection. He cannot be on our ballot.
yeah. We don't want them on the ballot. Yep.
So it's like, why are states doing this versus, and keep in mind that it's a lot of Republicans who are in these states who are actually holding this up.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how that plays out.
And
We're going to,
and, and I just want to say it is very conceivable that they managed to push these cases past November. And that's honestly what I'm worried about
yeah.
because I don't have a lot of faith in the Democrats' ability to come together and push forward an agenda in the amount of time that they have left. And if that's the case and they push this, like you said, the worst case scenario is they vote this guy in, he manages to win the election, he goes into office and he snaps his fingers like freaking Thanos and makes all this go away.
he won't be able to, he's trying with
He can
Georgia.
make a lot of it go away.
He can make a lot of it go away, but he can't. It's going to be interesting what happens with Georgia. That's all I got to say. That's why I'm actually applauding Fani for being like, nah, playa. I'm in these streets right with you. Let's go.
Yeah,
That one feels like a street fight now. That one does feel like a
it
street fight.
does. It
So we're
does.
no longer in the ring. We're in the street.
Yeah, which again, like I said, that's why my new motto is when they go low, I go lower, because you can't beat these people
Yeah,
by being the, oh shucks, golly gee, we'll get them the next time. Nah,
I
fuck that.
ain't. No, no,
No,
no.
I got a baseball bat. I'm ready to go.
We are not Leave It to Beaver. We are more Sanford and Son. Let's go.
Well, and I mean, just speaking about how extreme these people are and how savage they are. What about that dude that cut his father's head off?
Bro, you want to talk about the demographic that is becoming the extreme party, the
And
GQP?
and they literally cited work that he wanted to go after Biden supporters.
Right.
This was a political killing.
This,
Would that be a fair?
I mean, this is killing your father the most gruesome way possible.
Yeah,
Calling him a traitor because he works for the government. This is the oxymoron I don't understand about the Republican Party. You hate government, but yet you work in the government. That's like me hating the government and then getting a specialized license plate talking about I hate the government.
yeah. My
I
favorite
just
one to my favorite one today was because we're going to talk about the good job numbers that came out, and somebody said, "Yeah, but it's all taxpayer funded jobs," and I was like, "So you mean like every federal employee and every federal contractor, and there's so many jobs that are paid for with taxpayer dollars? You state jobs that are paid like that's the level of people that are voting for Donald Trump."
that's the level of people breathing.
Oh my.
That's just in the planet. That's just out there, baby. That's who's there. That's who's there.
Jesus.
But I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I really don't either. But nope, go ahead. You got something? Go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna. I mean, I just
See it
find
on
it
the
so
tip of your
tragic.
tongue. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I find it so tragic that this is like when I think with people like, okay, you're voting for the Republican Party, and I get it, taxes and all these things.
Yeah.
But are you even really your grandfather or your father's Republican Party anymore? Like
No.
just looking at it from what you're talking about, being,
Yeah.
you want to be conservative. Okay, well, this dude was literally banging Playboy models while his wife was pregnant with his son. So how conservative? Okay,
Yeah.
religious aspect. Okay, well he
Yeah.
believes in
Family
Jesus.
values. Family values.
Family values. Like, oh, he believes in Jesus. Oh, okay, but he ain't going to
But
church.
but
Like,
but can't cite one Bible verse.
what's your favorite verse? I love the whole book.
Whole book's great.
The whole
Whole
book's
book's
good,
great.
cover to cover.
That's a little personal. I don't want to talk about it.
That's
No,
that's
you
fine.
don't have a verse that you can conjure up in that head of yours. You can't
Me,
BS
me,
your way through
me and Jesus.
that.
Me and
He
Sweet
was
Baby,
at least smart enough to know that he couldn't BS his way through that. I'll give him that.
bro.
Because
I mean, I find it interesting, but he is a showman. I think of like the Ringling Brothers. I think of Thomas Edison.
yeah,
They really know how to take in all the air of the room, and it's quite interesting because you look at him and Biden. They're same fucking generation. They're three
yeah,
years difference, and they walk a different path.
yeah, very much so.
Biden's getting shit done. Trump is talking about getting shit done, but does not deliver.
And milking his supporters for money to pay for his legal fees.
Oh my God, he got millions, millions, recently from a donor, and
Yeah,
it's like you're a billionaire.
they're still sending him money. These
Not
people are
not
so
donors. Rich donors are handing him over some money,
yeah.
and then his whole stupid ass NFTs, whole other thing. All of it's
Oh,
a
the
hub.
NFT thing was funny.
Oh
It's
my God,
still funny.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All of it. He's selling snake oil at this point, and you're just like, really? And that's
Yeah,
what we want the White House. But okay, all right.
yeah, and
But I
everybody
don't trust
else.
polls, Ryan. I do not trust one poll.
Oh
I'm done
well,
with polls. I don't give a fuck about any poll, up, down, Biden. What? I don't care. I don't trust any of these polls.
and by the way, if you're in here, go ahead and smash that like button, no matter what platform you're on. That helps us out. Thank you, Kaylin,
Hit that like button.
for real. Oh, I think I did something wrong. All right, sorry. It's hard to do all this at once. Damn it.
You're doing a lot.
We need to have somebody do this.
You're doing a lot.
Um, okay, so let's go ahead and move on because we're doing good on time this week. I want to talk about the three soldiers that we lost in the drone strike in Jordan for
That's
a
so
minute.
true.
So for anybody who may have missed it, we lost 3 soldiers this past week. What was it? January 28th, I believe was the date. And the four soldiers that we lost were Sergeant William Rivers, Sergeant Kennedy Sanders, Sergeant Brianna Moffett. Um, so thinking about their families today, their bodies were brought back home today and received by their families and the president.
Thank you for
Uh,
your service. I really.
um, yeah, it always sucks losing losing soldiers. It's just never. It doesn't matter. Politics doesn't matter when this happens. It's they were fighting for all of us, and they lost their lives doing it. So yeah, may God rest their souls and comfort their loved ones moving forward. But I do want to just point something out, and unfortunately we have to because this prick is still running for office. So, like I said earlier today, and again, I posted for anybody that's on. I posted earlier today that he was going to be doing it tonight, and apparently they did it during the day, and that's my fault. When I worked at Dover, they received him at night, and I
Mm,
if I remember correctly, it was something about they didn't want like reporters taking pictures and videos and stuff or something.
that's
But I,
correct.
but I didn't realize that they had started doing it during the day again. So that I'd made the assumption that was my fault. But I did put it in the comments and try to correct it. So sorry about that. But he did receive them earlier today, and I think it just needs to be pointed out that Donald Trump, he went there once and got into it with the family, and he never went back again. So Mr. Patriot, Mr. I love the military,
Bone Spurs, Mr. Bone Spurs.
yeah, which by the way, got to remind you all also that he called fallen soldiers losers and suckers and wouldn't visit a cemetery in Paris.
That's so
So
wild.
this guy has zero respect for our fallen soldiers. He only uses us as a political prop. And we currently have a president who can relate with these folks, who is capable of showing empathy and actually shows up to do his fucking job.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm going to be voting for this go around. The guy that'll actually show up and receive our dead soldiers.
You mentioned something to me about how he called the
Thank
families.
you. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. And that was another thing. And I don't know if Trump ever did this. So I'm not saying Trump never did.
I'm not worried
But
about him. What did
I'm
Biden
not
do?
either, but you're right. So, but what Biden did was he called all the families of the 3 soldiers and said, "Are you okay with me being there? And if you aren't, I won't come." So, if any of the families would have said that they didn't want him there, he wasn't going to go. And I thought that was very respectful and classy because it's a very divided time, and he didn't want to, he didn't want to start anything. So he wanted to make sure that he was actually wanted there.
Right.
And when they all must have said yes. So I just like that. I think that was a classy move.
That is for such a tragic situation that unfolded, which is this whole war is and to me it's a proxy. Iran is literally just pussyfooting around, wanting to start some shit with us, and all this unleashing. And I really do wish that somebody would hold them accountable in the ICJ, and they would actually press charges, actually charge them with genocide with all this death that is happening
Yeah.
because of this. When people talk about, they want a ceasefire now, October 6th was a ceasefire, and look what happened.
Yeah. And I believe, and anybody in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they officially declined, Hamas officially declined the ceasefire offer, didn't they? I think that came out. I thought that came out today
I did not read that yet. I did not read.
because they were reviewing it, and I thought they came out today and said that
I knew they were reviewing it, but I did not read what the outcome was yet.
yeah, I think they came out and said no.
Okay.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah. A couple things since we're touching on the Middle East. I have to say, Biden, his retaliation, which I know we're going to touch on that
That's actually next. So let's
next.
go into it.
I think it's interesting because for the base to be attacked and the bunks being attacked by this drone, um,
That's not it.
uh, you're just mixing it. We're drunk today, guys. I'm sorry. We're doing the show.
Kalen's drunk and because it's an early birthday celebration, but
Oh,
I don't know
man.
what my excuse is.
Oh, man, it's so good.
One of these
With
days, I'm gonna hire a producer that can do this stuff so that we can just talk. I'm not doing three things at once.
You're doing
Um,
great. But with Biden, he took his time. He said, we will act accordingly, and we will commence when the time is right.
yep,
And I think it gave people the room to breathe, which was what I always thought and wished for the Israeli people, where they could have some time to breathe from October 7th. This situation clearly on a way smaller scale, but it was one of those things of really understanding time to grieve with the family, and then we will act accordingly. Um, with
and
this, the numbers that Biden is putting out, which we talked about, Biden is a beast behind closed doors.
yeah, yep.
He already started something with what 85 uh, uh, um, targets over
Oh, I was about to
several
say,
locations.
so the strike that happened today was targeting. It was 85 targets in 7 different locations located in both Syria and Iraq. So yeah, he is not messing around. And at the end of that, he said that there is more to come.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and again, just talking about the kind of person he is, I'm really glad you actually brought this up. He didn't like warn them like, oh, we're going to strike you right here, but he gave them a warning. We are going to retaliate. And so they knew for days that something was coming. They just didn't know what.
yeah. And they
So
still don't because he's taking his time.
they
He's
still
not
don't.
this.
And I want to point this out before we move on too. For everybody out there that's going to trash Biden for this, this was a lose-lose situation for Biden. No matter what his response was, it was going to be wrong for the other side. And let me
Yeah,
explain why. If he had not responded at all to these 3 soldiers being killed, he would have been viewed as weak and they would have ran him down for it.
yeah,
So now they're going to say Biden is escalating things in the Middle East because he wants this war. Even though if he hadn't responded, they would have tore him down for that.
right.
So it literally didn't matter what Biden did. So I'm glad he just went ahead and said, "You know what? We're going to do what's right. We're going to retaliate and whatever wherever the chips fall, they fall."
And on top of that, I love what he's doing about the West Bank.
What is he
I love
pulling?
that he brought some sanctions on some of the settlers, and he's like, "This shit needs the end."
Yep, and
Because I
he's pulling
realize,
money back. He's pulling money back and weapons. So he's
and he's removing visas. He's like, "You will not be able to travel here.
yep,
You are cut off. We're gonna get that started." He's
yep,
putting pressure on a lot of people. He's letting people know he's not playing around with anybody.
yeah.
So it's quite interesting to see him step into this role now, where he
Yeah.
doesn't want this war. He doesn't want any of this, but it happened. It's on his watch,
Yep,
and just like COVID, my man's stepping up.
he is.
His experience is showing. It's showing.
It
He's doing
is, and like
power to people know he's not that one to sleep on.
no, and you said it last show. Like you said, he's getting things done.
Yeah,
There's a lot of static and there's a lot of diversions going on right now. But at the end of the day, is it perfect? No. And he's getting thrown some curveballs. But I just between the two of them, it's a no brainer. It,
yeah,
it it just is. If you're gonna put Trump up against Biden again, it's Biden all day, every day. Like you guys should have gone and found somebody else, somebody that was younger, somebody like you guys should not have wanted a rematch. That's like the dumbest strategy I've ever seen in my life. Like
called insanity. Playing
it,
the same shit over, man.
like
Same.
the only thing that I can think of is that the Republican Party hasn't seen fundraising at these levels in decades. So they want to keep the money train going as long as possible. They're going to ride this dude right into jail.
But it also makes me think about what kind of dirt he has on the
Oh,
party.
he's got
Because
you can tell who he's got dirt on. Because they went from, yeah, it was an insurrection. He tried overthrowing the government to, no, Trump's great. I don't know what you're talking about. In a matter of like
the,
6 months.
the
Like,
ball in mouth. That's what the
dude,
was.
like, ugh. Okay. So we're kind of going another direction. I want to stay focused
Oh, we
because
get about balls in mouths. Go ahead, continue.
I just realized I had my mouth open. I was like, Um, but
Please continue.
no, I wanted to touch on the I'm going to call it an attack because I know you said something else, but there was an attack in the Gaza hospital, and you won't be able to hear us while the video's on, but I just wanted to play a small clip. So before we show it, though, go ahead and tell them what we're going to see.
So this footage is the IDF's Black Ops, and I said this was a strike. This was an actual targeted strike
Yep.
that they went into West Bank because Hamas is growing in an ideology, and so there was uh, intelligence that there was actually some shit about to go down in the West Bank, and they swiped in there and they took these people out.
And they're using hospitals, and for anybody who maybe
They are
isn't
hospitals. You're saying Hamas.
Hamas, yes, sorry.
Hamas is hospitals,
Yeah,
and
thanks for
yeah,
clarifying.
yeah,
And I would just want for anybody not familiar with like military Geneva Convention kind of stuff, like there are actually rules in war. There are supposed to be some rules. And one of the biggest ones is you don't attack medical personnel, you don't attack, medical buses, ships, whatever. If it has a big red cross on it, it is a medical utility that is not supposed to be attacked. So the fact that you have terrorists taking up housing within hospitals and running their operations within hospitals because they know that in most cases they are not supposed to be, you're not supposed to be able to strike them.
right. It's
So
a war crime.
now they're having to, instead of just bombing it, they're doing something like this, which I actually, if you're going to do it, I think this is probably the way to do it. Instead of just, drone strikes and whatever, they're sending guys in on the ground to do this. Did you notice the one that came in with the baby carrier?
Yeah.
So they were dressed up as medical workers, moms, like,
Nurses,
they
doctors.
nurses, doctors, like, yeah, they
If
were
possible.
yeah, that was a legit operation for
That's a
sure.
legit right. What's interesting also is the updated news about the uh, uh, UNRWA, UNRWA, UNRWA,
Is that where they're taking the funding away?
where the number has now jumped at how many countries are no longer funding the UN's
Yeah,
operation.
because
Uh,
they had people that had something to do with the
12 that they have as of right now that were affiliated with October 7th directly, 1,200 who are members of Hamas, and 3,000 who,
Uh-oh.
I lose you,
Yep, you're back.
3,000 that were celebrating October 7th.
Okay. Yeah, so that's crazy.
Did I lose you,
That's
Ryan?
No, you're here. Oh, now your audio's a little messed up though. Ruh-roh. Sorry, you got a call or something, didn't you? See now, all right. Now I got a tap dance for you guys. All right. So why he's having? I'm going to talk about something that I want to talk about. So he's back, but I'm still going to talk about it. So
Go ahead, talk about it.
real quick, Darius Rucker was arrested on misdemeanor drug charges. I think it was yesterday in Tennessee, and it was pot. They arrested him for pot. Um,
They didn't just say that in the article? Right there in the headline?
no, you got to make it. You got to make
More
people.
salacious? More like he's
Yeah,
really doing
you got
something?
to make people click the link. I mean, it's a misdemeanor charge, but I just wanted to use it as a stepping point for a conversation of we need to really get over this whole stigma surrounding cannabis, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's medicine. It's medicine for a lot of people every day. And if you want to compare pharmaceuticals versus stuff that we can grow in the ground, I'll take the stuff that grows in the ground every day, all day. Okay. That comes in edibles. It comes in topicals. It comes in, you can vape it. You can smoke it. You can do anything. Okay. So my personal story is I couldn't use it for decades because I was a federal employee, whether it was in the military as a contractor. But as my back got worse, I started using it. And it allowed me to get off pain meds for a very long time, and it allowed me to get off all my anxiety meds. Like, I've become a pot connoisseur of sorts because there's, you've got your sativas, you've got your indicas, you've got your hybrids. So it's like if you usually use Adderall, you can probably go find a strain that actually will kind of give you the same benefits that Adderall would.
Right.
If you take Ambien or something to help you sleep, there's edibles and indicas that you can take that'll knock you out. And it's just, you can literally medicate yourself without pharmaceutically medicating yourself, and they don't want us to be able to do that. And more importantly, I think this may be controversial. I think that people like myself, disabled veterans, whether it's PTSD, chronic pain, manic depression, whatever it is, we should get a month's supply of cannabis for the same amount of money that we get a month's supply of pain medication. I
Mhm.
can get a month's supply of Percocet for $28. I should get a month's supply of pot for $28
Smoke weed every day.
every day. And by the way, Snoop, if you ain't smoking, start smoking again, goddamn it! Because you
Oh, that was
saying
just an ad. That was just an ad.
that wasn't well, okay. But did you see what he said about Trump?
No, what do you say about Trump?
Oh, bro,
Why does everything come back to that motherfucker? God
it
damn.
always does. But no, Snoop came out. He's like, I got nothing but love for Trump. He ain't nothing. He ain't never done nothing for me, or done nothing to me. And he let out, or not let out. He pardoned.
Pardon? Pardon?
He pardoned the gentleman that basically funded death row. I forget his name off the top of my head, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the guy that gave out Suge Knight all the money while he was in jail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
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 Trump pardoned him. So I guess
Did
since he pardoned his boy, it's okay. It's cool to support rapists now.
I
Not a,
mean, look, that's
no. Fuck that.
don't put
No,
Snoop in that. Don't put
no.
Snoop.
Fuck no.
That's
Fuck that because he
that's
did. I
Snoop.
got a video of him talking about how dirty Donald Trump is and all that shit, and it ain't changed. That shit has not
No,
changed. The
no, no.
only thing that changed is you got your fucking palm greased with a pardon, and now all of a sudden you're cool with Donald Trump. I don't give a
No,
fuck who you are.
I'm saying that it's like that. That shows me a one, one trick pony, one issue voter. But that's I need more context from that. I can't go off of just him
And
saying,
I'm not saying he's going to vote for the guy.
yeah, but
He
that's
didn't come out and say that. But having the platform that Snoop currently has,
which is true. It's true.
he is one of the biggest people in entertainment right now.
Yeah.
And for him to, I guess I'll rephrase it and say it's really disappointing to
There
see
you go.
him not say what he's always been saying. It was really disappointing to see him change his mind or change his position simply based off of that.
Yeah.
Because all of the other stuff has only gotten worse. It
Yeah.
hasn't gotten better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he got found innocent of any of this stuff. That's not what happened. Like,
Right.
it literally is in court documents that he's a rapist. So to me, all the other stuff is just BS. Like, you could
But
talk about all the other shit. If you're willing to vote for a rapist and a legit domestic terrorist to own the liberals or off of, like you said, one issue, you are the problem. I hate to say it. Like, that's a problem.
I
And
have a lot more empathy for people where it's like, I mean, whatever that cause is. I mean, I just hope Snoop doesn't go to Tennessee and get got like Darius Rucker right now. But 'cause I'm sure there's a lot more on the bus. But
yeah.
um, but
It's a lot
interesting,
more on the
a lot
bus.
more on the bus with Snoop. You already know what's coming. But what's interesting is I did have recently a debate with somebody where they don't even believe because our conversation last week about the 83 million, 83.3 million,
Yep.
and then plus the five, and they were like, well, he didn't rape anybody. I go, no, the judge found it. He goes, no, that's your opinion. I go, that's not my opinion. The judge of that case. I go, I have no opinion on any of this. The only thing I talk about is just what is coming out of the court.
Yeah.
And it's like that's it. I'm waiting. Even with Hunter, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to pass judgment on
Yeah,
his
you're
thing.
much better at that than I am.
I'm waiting because in the end, it's like, okay, this is what was found, but like, do I agree? Like, do I agree with Roe v. Wade being overturned? No, but it's
Yeah.
like, okay, this is what they're doing, and all they did was set it up for every state to be like, okay, Do you want to have the right to own your own body?
Yep.
And you're seeing people telling themselves, every one of these states. Look at Ohio, trying to prosecute that one woman because she had a miscarriage, and then they took it that far, and it's like, what is going on? Look at Texas, you know, a baby's not going to survive. It's like, so can I get
What are
the
you doing? Yeah, yeah,
no, you can't. It's like, what are you doing? And she wants to have more kids. It's like, all I can say is people are telling on themselves right now, and
yeah.
that's the landscape. So all I say is just give people rope. Just give people rope. Let them either climb up or hang themselves.
Yep.
You're only getting one or the other.
Yep. All right. I want to look at this. We got 15 minutes. Um, yeah, we'll
15
talk about it.
glorious minutes with
We'll
you.
talk about it.
That's going on.
Um, so there's a trial going on in Michigan,
Okay.
for the parents of the Oxford shooter.
Mm.
I'm not gonna say the kid's name, but
Is this the first of its kind?
this is the first of its kind. So they're going after both the mother and the father for manslaughter because they purchased the weapon for the child, and therefore they're holding him responsible. Um, this is interesting because this isn't the first time that one of these mass shooters has showed up with a weapon that they, was purchased for them by their parent, or that they got from their parent, or that the parent left out or left the safe, but whatever the circumstances are, one way or another, it was connected to a parent that wasn't responsible. So it's really interesting to see the legal precedent that this case is setting of, if you are not responsible in your household with your weapons and your kid does something like this, it's not just him that's going to go to jail,
I find that,
or her.
well, only that, but this was also these two individuals were caught fleeing to
Yes.
Canada.
Yes. And
Which,
that,
for those of you who don't know, that means they were driving south into Detroit to get to Canada.
yeah. And yeah, and it's not a far drive. Like
No.
once you're in Detroit, it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, the fact that they fled, I think that's going to be a big strike against them. But here's the other thing, the other facts of the case that are very interesting. Like I said, they purchased the gun reportedly for the kid.
mm.
Um, they
Which
were
is not uncommon in Michigan. Like, depending on what the
no,
is, on
and
hunting versus whatever the case
and in the
is.
South, that's not uncommon.
Right,
But it's a different culture, and a lot of them, even though they lock their guns up, like they
right,
usually don't leave them just laying around,
100%.
or they put the little things in the triggers that so you can't,
That's correct.
it stays locked. So I mean, as long as you're being responsible, that's the thing. Like, you want to go get your kid a 22 rifle and take him out shooting, cool. I'm all for that. But when you guys get back, put the fucking gun in the safe and
Right,
don't give your kid the fucking code.
right,
You know,
right,
like that's where the line is. Like, I don't have a problem. You go get your kid a 22 and you teach him how to use a rifle. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. But if you bring it home and you don't lock it up, or you give kid access to that weapon when you are not around, that's where you fuck up. That's where the problem comes in, right? So that's where okay, all these laws are in place, but even with these laws, and what are we doing with them? So it
right.
feels like with this case, they're finally going to try to use the laws that are there and probably try to set some new ones.
It can be interesting because it is like neglect, it is child abuse, it is a number of factors, it is murder.
Yeah,
Uh, Looking at all the things that are really lined up there, I'm interested to see what they are going after them, like solely for.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, and
but
go ahead.
go,
Sorry.
no, go
Well,
ahead.
what I was going to say was the other issue that I really see here is that this kid's mental health. So there's
Right,
actually, I've actually posted on my social media, but they have one of the drawings. Like, he drew a gun, and on this drawing, it literally says, "The voices won't stop. Help me."
right,
They brought the parents into the school that day. Showed them the drawing. Basically asked them, to take him home and get him some therapy, and they refused to take him out of the school that day. That day. So
yep,
literally the school had done what they were supposed to do.
right,
They saw the drawing, they said, "Okay, that's not okay. Let's
right,
call the parents." and tell them that he needs therapy. They did what the school did, what they were supposed to do. They did everything. And honestly, it should have been enough. They should have, they should have, the only thing that they maybe should have done different or could have was be like, no, like we're telling you, take your kid home today.
But wouldn't that be a red flag that your parents are like, we're not taking him, and you're like, no, we need him to be assessed. And
I think just about any parent, any rational parent would be like, if your kid's drawing guns and saying help me on fucking school paperwork, yeah, I think I probably would have pulled my kid out of school that day and called my job and said, I can't come in today. And oh, by the way, I was reading that she got fired from her job because she texted the guy, please don't fire me, I need my job. Text her boss. And then so the boss did end up firing her. But he said,
you're talking about
the mother, yeah, he ended up firing her. But he goes, if she would have called me and said, hey, this is going on with my son, I need to take the day. He goes, we would have absolutely given her the time.
Right.
So he's like, there's no reason for her not to have taken him out of school that day.
To go assess it. And the thing is, she was also texting her son not to do it.
Yeah. So it's like, she already kind of knew. They already knew.
She was texting her son.
Yep. And then texting the guy that she was cheating on her husband with, which was a fire. Yeah, that came out today in court.
Oh,
apparently she was messing around with some firefighter, and she texted him, saying I failed, I'm a bad mother, and he texts back saying it's not you. It's not...
all that business being put out there.
Oh yeah, and then on top of it, in court, she basically threw her husband under the bus and said, well, it was his responsibility. The gun was his responsibility. I was like, damn. I was like, do you think that dude felt that?
Wow. Let this be a lesson for everybody. Be careful who your partner is.
That too.
They are an extension of yourself, and whoever you feel like you need to create with.
Yep.
That is also equally an extension. They are your responsibility.
And there is a part of me after, watching the parents, how they operate. I can't say it's horribly surprising. I do. There's a part of me that still feels for the kid. He's a murderer. He's in jail.
Look at how he was never a part of the equation.
I'm telling you, man, it's just, he was still a kid. Still a fucking kid.
That is so, they set him up for failure.
They did. They absolutely set him up for failure. Because you can't tell me that you don't know your kid is a little off. You know what I'm saying? Like, or that something's wrong.
Your kids, but if you're sidetracked and busy because you're chasing tail or doing whatever on the side, that's a lot. That's a lot of work. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. Kaylin said she was on Adult Friend Finder, spending all her time looking for. Yeah, wow. But she's right. Everyone possible failed that kid.
That's tragic. That is so tragic.
It is. He as a kid, he was failed, and it's just the fact that he ended up having to take people with him is extremely unfortunate. Mm. Okay, but let's move on to some little bit better information. So it's not often that I get to both talk about something positive and troll Fox News at the same time, but today is one of those days, and I'm going to enjoy it. So,
you look very, very happy with this.
Bro, anytime that I get to make Fox News look stupid, I'm like, please.
Yes. All right.
I've got this. This is my job.
All right.
Okay. So jobs report came out way better than expected today, which is a good thing for Biden and the Democrats, which we should continue to shove down their throat for the remaining months.
This man's good for America, period.
He is. So Fox News was waiting for the numbers to come out, and they were live. And they were waiting for him, and they wanted to react to him because they thought it was going to come in below. Here's what actually happened.
Numbers where we're expecting 180,000 jobs created in the month of January, and the unemployment rate to tick higher. You got the numbers?
Wow.
All right, let's get right to Cheryl.
This is something. 353,000 non-farm jobs. I had to seriously double check this, guys.
353,000 jobs added in the first month of the year. Unemployment stays at 3.7%. What a blowout report.
On the economy, the U.S. adding a surprisingly strong 353,000 jobs last month. Unemployment stays at 3.7%.
No one expected the jobs number coming at 350,000 jobs. Unemployment 3.7%. Wages up year over year 4.4%. I've been calling this for a long time, but this is Goldilocks. This is as good as it gets, and we already know inflation's coming down, which means purchasing power is going to go up this year. Consumers are going to have money to spend.
That's all Fox News. That was all Fox News reports.
Bro. Biden landed the plan. Landed the plane. He landed it.
Again, I don't know how you can sit here and keep pounding it down everybody's throats that unemployment's high, that inflation isn't going down, that job reports aren't good.
People are hurting. Some people are hurting. Some people are hurting.
We're all hurting. And I want to continue to say this. High gas prices, high grocery prices, high daycare prices, like everything has gone up.
Yeah.
But it happened to all Americans, not just conservatives. It happened to all of us.
But that's also corporate greed.
Exactly. You have to look at the corporate side of this. Like if things were really that bad, these corporations would not be posting record profits.
Record
Which
profits. Has been nothing but record year over year.
So, it's just, it's sad that Joe Biden is not getting, and not just Joe Biden, his administration. It's sad that the administration is not getting the credit that they deserve for the job.
Not that they're not getting the credit. They're not pushing the right.
The messaging.
Their messaging is off, and that's what their focus needs to be on.
But that's not true, because that video I just showed you, I think, was posted on one of his accounts. So I mean, they're trying.
Oh, no, they're starting. They're starting now. Full
time. So
messaging is needs to be kicked up.
Yeah, all day, every day. It needs to be pounded. Just like the age thing needs to be talked about all the time.
They need to lean into it.
Trump is only 3 years younger than Biden, so that the age talking point doesn't make sense in this election.
No.
Like I said, if they wanted to do that, they should have, you should have put Ron DeSantis or somebody like that up. Then you could have pounded him over the head with his age all day.
I'm all for Nimrata, if you know who that is. Nimrata 2024.
Yeah, she doesn't stand a chance. But I also wanted to pivot. We're going to do this, and then we're going to get into the good stuff. So the good news stuff. So this is another video that I thought we might find interesting. It might not play perfect, but
that on net significantly decreases illegal immigration. And we sabotage that. That is inconsistent with what we told our voters we would do. People will make up whatever reasons they want to. There's a number of them, I'm sure. But it would be a pretty unacceptable dereliction of your duty.
The fact that he would communicate to Republican senators and congresspeople that he doesn't want us to solve the border problem because he wants to blame Biden for it is really appalling.
It's interesting. Republicans 4 months ago would not give funding for Ukraine, for Israel, and for our southern border because we demanded changes in policy. So we actually locked arms together and said, we're not going to give you money for this. We want a change in law. And now it's interesting, a few months later, when we're finally getting to the end, they're like, oh, just kidding. I actually don't want a change in law because it's a presidential election year.
Are here. We've been elected. We have election certificates. When you have an opportunity to make this country safer, you take it, and you don't play politics.
It hasn't been released. How does he know it's a betrayal if he hasn't read it? I mean, don't be ignorant. Read the bill.
That's 4 or 5 Republicans saying that.
But that just tells you how much that he's talking behind the scenes to these guys and who's getting on board. Like your girlfriend or oh God, what's the other one?
Marjorie?
Marjorie's your girlfriend, yes.
Boebert,
who just got dog walked at a GOP dinner, mind you. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
GOP is telling people at this dinner, keep your hands above the table. And it's out there. The footage is out there.
Ooh.
And they're saying, there'll be no vaping inside today.
No, they didn't.
They dog walked her on stage. They were calling her out. So they're do you know that she's like negative 7 points in that new district that she's going to?
Oh, good. It'll be beautiful if she loses.
She's like in 4th place. Like it's not looking like it's not good for her moving to this new location. So who knows?
Well, think about it. If you were a constituent in that district, you've already got 3 or 4 other candidates that have been running that live there that already have a vested interest in the area,
right?
And you've got this wench coming in out of nowhere thinking that she's going to come in and just roll all of everybody because it's a plus 21 district. And turns out that people in that area aren't that stupid.
Right.
And they actually want to vote for somebody that's been living in the community for a while and isn't just trying to get their vote so that they can stay in power.
Right.
She fucked up.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say.
No, you're right. It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah. There's no celebration in any of it. I just think we're sending the worst people. I think we're just sending the worst people to actually fight for our problems, like of trying to better this nation.
I agree. And there's some Democrats that need to go.
Yeah.
It's on both sides of the fence. But right now, it really is the Republicans that keep
a whole lot of idiots on that side.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real even right now.
No,
that's for sure.
Well, I find it interesting that it's a heavy minority.
Yes,
and that's how I'm going to word it. It's a heavy minority that is just doing its thing.
Kalen said Ryan's face. See, for some of you guys, Ian can't see certain things because he broadcasts on his phone. So some of the stuff he can't see, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and go into the positive stuff. Let's end the show on a positive note. One good news, this isn't my good news, but it's just good news, is Puxatawny Phil did not see his shadow. So spring is right around the corner. Hopefully. Hey, it was 78 degrees here the last 2 days. And then today it's raining in 45.
29 here tomorrow.
What is it going to be?
29.
See, we grew up in that shit. Why did you move somewhere else? Like,
it's fun in New York. It's fun.
No, I know. See, I was there for 4 months, and it just, I don't know. I'm a city boy, but I'm not that much of a city boy. Like, I like having my car. I like not having to move it every freaking 5 days for this, whatever it is, the street sweeper, the trash, or whatever.
I love the pacing of New York, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, New York's a cool place. I actually can't wait to bring the kids there.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your positive for this week?
Oh no, you first. Good,
okay,
sir.
So it may make me sound like a dork. I don't care. So I got to talk to my 3rd grade teacher yesterday. We got to talk for like an hour, and man, it was just so cool. She's in her 80s now. She was my 3rd and 4th grade teacher.
How did you track her down?
She tracked me down, actually. So I went on my LinkedIn and I saw she didn't have a picture or anything. It was just a random profile, but it had her name.
Oh.
And I was like, is that my teacher? So I sent her a message and she sent me back, yeah, it's me. So I sent her my phone number. Said, I'd love to talk to you. She's like, I wrote it down. I'll give you a call this week. So she texted me yesterday. She's like, hey, are you busy? I'm like, I can make time. So we sat down and we chatted for a while, and it was really a full circle moment. It was cool because, as most of you guys know, we do virtual with the kids. So I get to help them with their math. And I was just teaching Liv the other day, her multiplication tables. And one of the way Miss Bolio taught it to me was, it was like a rhyme. 5 times 5 is 25, 6 times 6 is 36, 7 times 7 is 49, 8 times 8 is 64. And she taught it to me in this way that I always remembered. And I used the exact same way that she taught me to teach my kids. Yeah. And as we were hanging up the phone, I actually told her that, and I said, it's just, she stuck with me all these years because 3rd grade was when I moved into Troy and Royal Oak. And so we were just moving. I didn't have any real friends yet. And she just took me under her wing, because my dad had come in there. So she kind of knew what was going on and that we were new and all that stuff. And she was just an amazing person. She took the time to help me after class, after everybody was gone. If she knew my dad wasn't going to be home, she'd keep me back and help me with stuff. And, she was just an amazing person. And I know she touched so many other people out there. She has so many kids, I'm sure, that still keep in touch with her. So it was just very cool. And she's an amazing person. And, to all the teachers out there, you guys really do affect us long term. Like I told her, she played a big role in the man that I became. And all of you teachers, especially, you're underpaid, but I hope you know that you're overappreciated by a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope. Well said, man. It's kind of cool because I have an elementary teacher as well, Mrs. Burr. Shout out to Mrs. Burr, who was our music teacher. And I had that same kind of connection with her where I told her, I was like, I'm making music, blah, blah, blah. I'm here in New York. Like me chasing music alone has just had me travel everywhere. Yeah. I go, so I want to let you know, like, me banging on your piano and learning the xylophone and having that solo on a violin in your class and in those concerts, I was like, had a major effect on me. But here I am now, still doing it. It's
Yep.
subconscious, not even thinking about it. That was what was the fruit of all that labor started back then. So,
Yep.
that's a dope positive, man. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
man, it was
And
good.
we for mine, love my wife. She told me over the weekend that anybody with the last name Sherman had to get out the house. So we definitely had to exit. I looked at the boy and I just said, my son, I said, it looks like we both got in trouble
Oh,
because
is that what the pics were from? You
is
had
that
because you had to bounce.
yeah, I text you it.
Yeah.
We got kicked out the house, and so we had to go find a playground to go play at. And I got little man playing soccer. Now,
Nice.
mind you, he's only two. He's only two, and some change. And so I put this little ball in front of him, and I just really watched him just kind of wrap his head around because I brought him to this brand new AstroTurf soccer field, and so
Yeah, it looks nice.
it's beautiful over
Yeah.
there what they're building. And so we were passing the ball back and forth, and it was funny to just watch him like start to understand. And he hand-eye coordination, he's going to be an athlete. I already know it's going to be in
The
his
motor skills, you see him figuring it
all
out.
there,
Yep.
all there. And the gray matter, him just understanding. And so me being a character, I was just egging him on, just being a large crowd cheering for him as he made the goal. And but it was great. It was a lot of fun to just kind of just see him out there. And then it made me start reminiscing and thinking about. That's how I know I'm getting old. Started
We all are,
thinking
brother.
about growing with Pops and what he was doing as being my coach, and I was like, okay, I see the full circle. But it's
Yep.
a beautiful moment, man. It's the part where I even say to you all the time, I just disconnect. I put the phone down. I'm not even worried about anything that's going on anywhere else except for right here and be present right
Yep.
here, right now. So it's just those moments. It's
Yeah,
everything.
that's something I need to get better at. It's hard sometimes for me to put the phone down, but Jen's really good though at she'll kind of tap me sometimes and just be like, "It's family time," you know.
Family, and
But
it's
like
crucial.
when we go out and stuff, like when we went to the Picasso thing or Van Gogh thing the other day,
Yeah.
I wasn't on my phone at all. Like I wasn't doing so. I was just taking videos of them, pictures, and it was just all about the family.
Which
So it's
that's
like,
what I'm trying to do is just document as much as
yeah,
possible. And I've
yeah,
recorded so much, and part of that is because we're not around any family. Elizabeth and I, we're doing this on our own
right,
here in New York, and so it's like we don't have our siblings to stop by
yep.
and hang out. We don't have that. Oh, the grandparents are here every other week or whatever the case is.
No, that's why we moved here. Yeah, so
You
we
know
could
what
have
I mean?
those things.
Why you moved there? That's why.
Yeah, Jen grew up in Sierra Vista, Arizona.
Be close to the family, the
Yeah.
dynamic.
So we
Yeah.
have like they're all my in-laws, but they're just amazing. Like her family,
Right.
and they love the kids. It's just nice because like, Christmas time they spoil the crap out of them. Like my sister and brother-in-law, they want to come watch Dominic, when he's playing
Yeah.
soccer. So yeah, it's nice to have other people being involved with your family and your kids and yeah, it's nice having that support.
It's such a good thing, but for me, it's documenting it and
And
then
sending
sending
it
videos
sending
to
it
all
to
the family,
everybody. Yeah.
just because I don't want them to miss those moments.
No. And
No.
and we, how cool is it? We always talk about how bad social media is and stuff like that, but how cool is it with this technology that we can keep up with everybody and send those photos and videos and even though we're not there, you can still kind of feel connected, like you're not missing it all.
100%. Well,
Yeah.
I just talked to a very old friend, family member, practically like another mom to me, and she was like, what really cheers me up is seeing these videos and all this with you. She's like, you lightsabering, fighting with your son, and teaching him. She's like, this is just it brings me so much joy because she watched me grow up
Yeah.
and seeing that side, and it's just like it's a lot of fun,
That's
man.
so
So
awesome.
it's just positive all around. So it's good. It's
Good.
really
And you guys miss out. His son is adorable.
yeah. He's
So
on social media. I don't share him.
I really don't share mine either. Yeah, I just think it's probably the right thing to do, especially right now. Like I said, I don't know if we were talking about it on the show before or not, but I said it sucks for my kids a little bit because they're gonna oh, hey Bubby girl from West Virginia. WV, yeah, that's West Virginia. Thanks for watching.
Oh.
But yeah, it's just they can't really be on social media because all my haters will go looking for them.
Right.
So, they're on like they do like online games and stuff, but I don't think anybody can really find them. There's nothing identifiable there. So yeah, I'm really cautious with them. And yeah, it's just unfortunate. But when you're doing what we're doing, we just have to watch it because yeah, haters are gonna hate.
You gotta let the innocence go, man. I think more of it. It's
Telling you.
a little more simplistic. We didn't grow up with it, and so
Yeah.
therefore I want him to have a feeling of that, of not being like his whole entire life has been documented and he had no say.
Yeah.
So I'm very just
Like the
more.
Truman Show.
What? When you're ready, exactly. And I'm like, when you're ready, like you can make the choice if you
Yep.
want to join the world, but you have to make that conscious decision that you want to jump
Yep.
in there. And then when you're in it, be ready because
Yep.
you're not going to have you being bullied online and that be a thing that you can't handle because
Yep.
it's going to come at you.
Yep. It's gonna happen.
It's going to happen. So you need
Yep.
to be ready mentally, physically, and then you have to also understand, turn this shit off.
Yeah, there's
and
a
go
time to
enjoy
just there's a time to just put it down and go do other stuff. Yep.
So that's the only thing. But look, we're enjoying the process. That's all.
Exactly, man. I'm trying to enjoy it. It's going by fast. It's going by really fast.
Bro.
But no, I think that's good for this week. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So my stalker, so Kaylin came on and was defending me and my family, and the stalker ended up going after her, found photos of her son and started posting them, all over on her page, all because she came to my defense. Some of these people are nutty.
Yo.
I mean, I take medication, but damn.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. I'm sorry.
I mean, kids though, look, I'm not sitting here saying I don't go at people. Like
No.
I go at conservative, personalities online all day.
Right.
But there's a line, bro.
There's an absolute line, and it's this. You come after whatever's there in front of you that's on the mic that's talking.
Right. You come at me all day. I'm not saying I love it, but I can take it, because I know that I'm dishing it out. So of course I'm going to get some back. But when you take it to my kids, like I even give a little leeway on my wife because I have posted photos of us and I do talk about her. So I give people a little leeway on that, but not about the kids. Like leave my kids out of it. I purposely don't post photos about them. I talk about them here and there. But outside of that, yeah, don't attack the kids. Don't show photos of people's kids just because you can.
Trick love of kids, man. Just remember that.
But just so you know how she plays, she's like, I sent her a picture of her house. She stopped.
Stop.
Hey, sometimes that's all you got to do.
How that was handled?
Yeah. Well, she sent the police to my house. Yeah, she sent them for a mental health check. You remember that, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, we were supposed to end up positive. Screw that. Screw her.
Now, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
look, a beautiful weekend. Thank you everybody for tuning in and joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the Shead Show.
Yes. And I will leave you as I always do with much love. Keep fighting, and we'll see y'all next Friday.